Okay, I was confused. I thought, oh no, we're not ordering food from him. I just had a, yeah.
Thought we were gonna get his groceries.
Wrong. Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll move to item 2.0, adoption of the agenda, and we do have an addendum. So I need a motion to approve that agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
Okay, been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented with the addendum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 3.0, approval of minutes from May 17th, May 24th, and June 1st, and we do have a correction.
There is one correction on the May 17th meeting. The vote count for the district office parking lot resurfacing is listed in the minutes as a 5-0 vote. It should be 5-2.
Two opposed to that resurfacing project, as I recall. So. Any other questions about the minutes?
Move to approve the May 17th and June 1st meeting minutes
24th as well?
and the 24th.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, move to approve those minutes as corrected. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. 4.0, consideration of the bills and warrants.
I have some questions. Page 14 on the top for the middle school water bill. It seems like we've had this issue before where it's almost double of the other schools. We talked about this once before, but I don't know what's going on.
Well, and I think
They had a sprinkler issue at one time, and they left it on, so supposedly that was fixed, but what seems to be going on, do you know?
I'll have to go back and check. I think part of the reason it looks large is the high school bill is split out in 3 different areas. So the water bill at the high school there's 3 different water bills there. And so when you add those up, they're pretty comparable to what the middle school bill is. But I can check with James. I'm not aware.
looking at all the other buildings too, but we've had this issue once before.
What is the total amount, Bill? What is the total amount for it?
Well, Garfield and Lincoln and Guthridge are all about $600. The middle school is double that.
It's
But-
$1,180.
Yeah, but then the high school has got several components. There's the high school water of $600, then the high school kitchen water of another $550, and there's another component as well. Tech water, $200. So,
Tech would just be the tech building, I assume. There's one for the track and that out there, the track and the fields, I think,
So
one
the-
time.
Yeah. So it looks like the water bill for the high school would be $1,266.08 if you added all 3 of those bills
All
up.
I'm saying is, it shot a red flag to me because we had an issue with sprinklers. I want to make sure that sprinklers weren't turned on like they were the last time, that's all. That's all I'm asking.
I will check with James.
And then one more question on page 20, in the middle, sports locker, some $1,034 for, are these uniform shirts for the high school? Or what, $1,034. And
Looks
then
like-
there's some screen print shirts. What are those for?
That's well, and that'll be a question I'll need to ask the coach.
High
And
school
Mr. Burke,
basketball.
It looks like high school basketball
But are those uniforms or
Well,
are they?
I would assume it says UNIS and supplies. So whenever the coaches purchase those things, it's within their budget.
I'm not saying it's not within our budget, I'm just asking, what is it?
And I'll have to ask the coach to find out. I would assume high school basketball uniforms and T-shirts.
And supplies.
Right, and supplies.
That's it.
any further questions?
Make a motion to approve the bills as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the bills and warrants. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 5.0, hearing of requests and suggestions of citizens and organizations. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the board that's not already on the agenda otherwise? Okay, yes, ma'am, please come forward and state your name and what would you prefer to do?
Whatever works for you. I wasn't sure what the protocol was.
There's no protocol. We do allow you 5 minutes to speak about your topic, and so
Okay.
please state your name and.
I can do that. Thank
Okay.
you. My name is Sherry Schenker. My children attend the middle school and Guthridge, and I wanted to come and personally thank the school board and the schools for giving our children such a great home. We're out-of-district kids, out-of-district parents. We live at McCune, and we transferred here a few years ago. And since then, our children are now excited to go to school, which is a great thing. But one of the main reasons I'm here tonight, I wanted to talk to you about a bus stop. Right now, 2 years ago, the bus stop was at a parking lot in Strauss. And right in the middle of the school year, with basically no warning, that bus stop was moved to the Neosho Township Fire Station parking lot, and with no input from parents. What we would request, because there are several students from the McCune area that do attend 503, and of course, since we're out of district, we do it by choice. So we do have a community bus stop in McCune now. It is owned by the city. There is ample parking for cars. There's bike racks. There's benches that are covered in case of inclement weather. This bus stop is currently being used by USD 504, along with an area church that uses it for various student pickups. So USD 503 would be very welcome in McCune. We also firmly believe that by having a bus stop in town, you would also garner additional students, because driving even further into 503 territory to the Neosho Fire Station and across the river can be cumbersome for many parents that would love to send their children here, but getting them to that bus stop at 6:45 in the morning can be a burden. So several of us do carpool when we can, et cetera, but a bus stop in town would be ideal. So could I answer any questions perhaps, or provide some encouragement?
What school district does 504, or does McCune reside in?
McCune is actually in USD 247, but 504 has been picking up students within the city limits of McCune now for, I believe, 4 years, possibly 5. So prior to that, they had a bus stop at Strauss as well, which was in 503 territory. But if we're not able to get a community bus stop within the city limits of McCune, I know that there are a couple of other venues off 400 Highway that are in 503 territory, and that are also east of the river. Crossing the river and going several miles deep into 503 does present a pretty good burden for several parents. So
about how many students are affected by this bus stop that was taken away?
To my knowledge, now, I don't profess to know every 247 student that actually attends 503. To my knowledge, we're looking at 7 to 10. But there could easily be more that they're just hitching a ride with their parents because that's the best they can do.
Okay.
So.
Any other questions from the board? Ms. Schenker?
I'm glad your students are happy,
Thank you.
kids are happy.
You know, when we transferred here, I really have to brag on Kurt Freeze, among others, but our son came from a severe bullying situation in another district to the point he would hide under a desk. And he had some pretty serious, he was terrified to come to school. He was afraid of getting beaten up. He loves it. I mean, he's anxious to come to school. In fact, he's taking high school algebra next year, so that's kind of cool when you're an 8th grader. So.
So for how long have they been picked up at this particular stop?
2 years now. Well, a year and a half, but basically, yes. And prior to that, it was at
And
Strauss.
when did it stop?
When did,
When did you say, you said it abruptly stopped?
it abruptly transferred, I believe in January, somewhere like that, to the fire station from Strauss. One week, we were taking them to the parking lot at the pecan store, and then the next week, we had to go to the fire station. It was like, boom. So, which, as you know, there are several miles in between.
Right. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you for
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
bringing this to our attention. We will discuss it. Okay, we will move on to item 5.1 from the addendum, which is the budget hearing and adoption of the amended budget.
Make a motion to approve the amended budget.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the,
Did anybody second?
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'll second.
Okay, all right. Been moved and now seconded to adopt the amended 2021 budget. Any further discussion on that? So those items we looked at previously?
We approved this for publication a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Mhm.
The board did.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 6.0, report of the superintendent of schools.
All right, so summer school is in full swing. Right now, we have 305 students total that are participating in summer schools and our activities, middle school, high school, weights, and driver's ed. So the programs at Lincoln and Garfield and Guthridge, those are where kids will come for about an hour, have really explicit instruction based on the data, and then they leave. So they do that 4 days a week. The middle school, they're working on courses, those core courses that they did not pass during second semester. And once those are completed, then they're able to leave. High school has 33 kids that are doing that credit recovery as well. So about 30 kids out for middle school weights, high school weights, there's 55. This year, there are 102 students completing driver's ed. So since last year we didn't have driver's ed, we've got a big group this year that's working on that. So ESSER 2 and ESSER 3.
Hold on. So how many students for academics, 33?
Oh, academics?
Yeah.
So at the elementary, let's look at the elementary, we've got 71 elementary academic, and at the secondary level, we have 47. So instead of it being a real general, just kind of what it's been in the past, where it's a lot of just generalized instructions, very specific instruction, it was a real targeted group based on academic achievement data. So we've got,
And then how many did you say were credit recovery?
at the high school, there's 33.
And that's Ingenuity, is that all computerized?
It's not all computerized. Our teachers also this year offered some of that in person where they are working as well. So now high school, it's through June and July. Everyone else is just through the month of June. Okay? And then we still are having, the high school's doing workshop offerings, those fun things for students in the afternoons as well. So they've got some good turnout for those activities. So they're doing that. So elementary, middle school, the last day is June the 30th. Okay. ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. So our ESSER 2 applications are completed, and it's just the first round. Our ESSER money was $2.1 million. If you've looked through this does not spend all of that money, but it does go through and you can identify the different things that we've talked about before that are identified. So the request is for $718,000 of that money to be pulled down. So that is, it was completed. It's in your packet. Also attached to that were construction and capital expenditures in order to put the window projects on there, just to see if that would be, I mean, it appears it's an allowable expense. So it was just an additional application to fill out for each of those. So that is due, there's not a hard and fast due date for this application. But once you filled it out, and we filled it out, the board will approve it, I'll send it on. It goes to the task force. So there's a group at KSD that looks through it, and they may call with questions to clarify. Then a task force will look through it and approve it, and then it will go on to the State Board of Education. So if I can get it up, it's all ready, so I can send it by tomorrow, then it should be on the State Board of Education agenda for the July meeting, which means I'm assuming it will be approved, then the funds would be available August the 1st. We wouldn't be able to draw them down until the 20th. So that's kind of where we are with that. With ESSER 3, that's on here too. We knew when we got the ESSER 3 money, they said you have to have a reopening plan, but nobody really knew what that was. And so last week, they sent an email on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, we had a brief, well, it was about an hour or so, meeting about what the reopening plan needed to be, a plan for safe return, which is kind of tricky because we were in person all year long anyway. But it did need to answer different questions regarding what the district was going to do in relationship to the recommendations from the CDC, how we were going to implement those. So that is also attached. That, in order to be eligible for the ESSER 3 funds, here's the caveat. The award letters, when they went out, we found out last Wednesday that you had 30 days from the day of the award notification in order to get your plan for safe return to in-person instruction posted on your website, or you would not be eligible for that award. So as soon as we're finished here and you've looked at that, we'll get that posted this evening so that it's up a day early. So those are the two updates for ESSERs that we've got later on in the agenda. Amanda handed out to you the strategic plan, and so I just want to kind of show you what this looks like. So this is the first draft of this so that we can share with people what our goals are, what our vision is, who participated in the team. And then each of those 5 areas, we will have people this year that will be assigned to those areas, and they will develop the goal sheets. So this is what they're going to work on. Here's who's going to do it, when it's going to be done. And so then next June, I'll give you another one that'll look similar to this. And then under the area of student supports, the student support group is going to tell you, okay, what did they accomplish with individual plans of study, the framework, those under each of those categories, so that we can see the growth. Does that sound reasonable? The other thing I've got is the year in review. A lot of times by the time you get to the end of the year, you think, oh my gosh, I don't know, what all did we accomplish? Maybe no one else feels that way. I just feel that way at the end. But we went through and we've got a page and a half of things the board and staff were able to accomplish in 2021. So we've got the soccer fields going with PRC. We've got the one-to-one technology and all those policies that have gone that. You approved a return to learn plan. We purchased a big grasshopper lawnmower. There's all kinds of curriculum that we have been able to purchase and approve. We've got middle school curriculum for science, 7th grade Kansas history books. We implemented all the COVID procedures and protocols when we started in-person learning. Our teachers have completed all the dyslexia training that's required already, and that's mandated for 21-22, so we were finished with that. We've gone to self-op food service. We've had vaccination clinics 3 different times for staff and for students. You guys approved short-term strategic plan goals for the next 3 years. You got an exit survey that we're using. Middle school, high school got textbooks for math, social studies. We've done some roofs, approved some bids for windows, new teaching positions, an elementary music, an additional teaching position at Guthridge, did the modified quarantine. We developed a district hearing panel for Senate 40. We didn't have anything we had to do, so that was good. We've done HVAC at the high school, added an additional CTE position at the middle school. We've done bleacher repair, resurfaced the parking lot at the district office, and we had a successful prom outside. We had a regular graduation. We've got summer school going and buses running, and I think we survived the first ever coronavirus year, and we didn't have to shut the whole place down. I feel like we did a good job. So, did a lot of successful concerts in the park. We learned a lot of things that some of which we will continue on as we're moving forward. So I think it's just important to take a minute to reflect on all the good work and things that you accomplished during this last school year. So July 5th, the district office will be closed for Independence Day. So those are things that I have. Do you have any questions?
Is the gym floor, is it satisfactory now?
There are spots they're continuing to work on. And so it will be satisfactory before school starts.
Well, I know it looked better than it did, but I was just curious. There's no push to try and redo that, I hope.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So, you mean redo the whole floor?
Yes.
No, I'm not aware of
And
that.
how about some of the bleachers that had holes in them from damage?
Right.
Are
That-
those going to get,
Those will be repaired. They were part of the approval last month to repair and replace those bleachers.
okay.
So those will be done.
And that's, the auxiliary gym is the one I was really talking about.
It's in both gyms.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to 7.0, report on the Tri-County Board meeting. Mr. Castle.
Most of our meeting was taken up with reports, normal reports on in-services and distant reports and safety intervention, all those things that we have to do each month. We did approve continue to be a member of the KASB Workers' Compensation Fund, their program. And also the main thing though was that we approved the district contributions for this coming year to special ed. And we had a 3.37% increase, which is, at one point in time, we thought it was going to be 10%. And those numbers are still big numbers, but it's a lot less than we thought it was because of the payment for special education per teacher went up about $2,000 ahead.
Mike, what
Yes,
was the approval of memorandum of understanding with Dr. Gary Morse from Olathe? What was that?
I'm sorry, that one is that we have to have someone sign off on some Medicaid issues, and we pay him so much ahead for those he has to review and sign off on. And I cannot remember the dollar figure. It depends on the number that he reviews in a year. It starts at a pretty good number. By the time we get down to, I think he does over 100 of those, and so it's.
So he's a medical doctor,
Yes.
not an educational
Right.
PhD.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Castle. 8.0, action to accept donations to schools.
those are listed on page 38 in your packet. Okay, at Garfield, donations from Box Tops, unrestricted, a value of $3. Parsons Grade School PTO, unrestricted to third grade, made a donation of $100. Parsons Public Library, weekly craft bags, donated on March the 1st and on August the 14th, valued at $200, for a total of $303 at Garfield. At Lincoln, the Parsons Public Library donated crafts for students valued at $20. Parsons Walmart made a donation of hand sanitizer valued at $150. So $170 of donations at Lincoln. At Guthridge, they had the Box Tops, which is an unrestricted donation for $9.60, so that was the total there. There were none this month at the middle school. At the high school, Michelle Smith made a $200 donation to the graphic design program. There were anonymous donors that made $256 worth of donations to the graphic design program. Anonymous donors made donations to the volleyball program, totaling $5,470. Vicki Reich donated to the PHS Honor Flight Program, $20. Mike and Linda Castle donated to the Honor Flight Program, $40. Nancy Heenan made a donation of $100 to the New York music trip. The City of Parsons made a donation for the Entrepreneurship Billboard valued at $200. Forbes Hoffman Funeral Home made a donation for the Entrepreneurship Billboard for $100. PHS Booster Club for the weightlifting program, $1,417.97. PHS Booster Club for the football program donated $2,000. William and Linda Downey For the welding program, a donation of $25. Gregory and Audrey Forbes, a donation to the welding program of $70. Tyler Beardmore, a $25 donation to the tennis program. Anthony Hauk made a donation of $145 to the boys basketball program. Ohio Pile Prince for the positive reinforcement program donated $19.84. And Roger Duroni made a donation of $250 to cheer camp, for a total at the high school of $10,338.81, bringing the entire month's worth of donations to May of 2021 to the district is $10,821.41. So I recommend you approve those donations.
Also moved. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve those donations as read and printed. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.1, first reading of the 21-22 various handbooks. You should have copies of those.
The one you will not have a copy of is the Safe Schools Plan. And so I'll have to get that to you. That one was not updated to put in here. But this does not require any board action this evening, but next month. So as you read through those at your leisure this month, if you have questions, please call the district office and let us know. Okay?
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
I read these, and I've never seen so much information regarding racial and disability harassment, nor on sexual harassment, so they're sending a pretty strong message.
Which one are you talking about, Lou?
that's-
We're not there yet. Hold that comment till the next one.
But you're right,
Yeah,
it's a
hold
lot
on
of,
there.
it's
Yeah.
new.
I apologize.
No problem. So any discussion on our handbook? Okay.
Hold on, so,
Okay.
which handbook are you on? We got 15
We have a first reading of staff handbooks, student, parent, safe schools, which you don't have, so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's a whole stack of them. But we're just going to give them to you tonight, and so you have between now and the next board meeting to read through those and get any questions that you might have, and that way we can answer
Yeah,
them
you
for
just got them tonight.
All right,
Well, and we're not taking any action, we just wanted to hand them out and let you know. So the changes are listed.
so does this include the course descriptions?
The course description, go ahead.
The high school course descriptions were
Already
already
approved.
approved. We don't have the middle school ones yet. We will.
Okay. Okay.
Only one you don't have is the Safe Schools Plan.
Right.
Okay. So 8.2 is the first reading of the recommended CASB June policy updates, and that's your topic, Lou. So what,
Yeah, my point was the sections on racial and disability harassment and sexual harassment are awfully thorough, so there's a message being sent, I'm not exactly sure why. It's good, I just don't know exactly what's going on, that they're getting pretty thorough with that. Something's going on.
Agreed.
Kansas.
is it your suggestion by stating that you're seeking additional clarification, or that you're just making an
Yeah,
observation?
It's very thorough, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on. There must be some cases that I'm not aware of. Usually they talk about those cases.
Legal cases, you mean?
Yes.
Okay,
So I said, well, clarification would work.
okay. So,
A lot of this is to go along with Title IX clarifications that the federal government has made as well.
That's all at Title IX. And you're relating that to racial disability harassment? Harassment.
The synopsis on page 2 says, the language of this policy is updated to clarify the August 2020 federal changes to Title IX compliant investigation timelines, procedures, and role and responsibility of Title IX coordinator, investigator, and decision maker. It's on the back of the first page.
Okay, so
I'm the same with Rachel.
So I'd like to see how Title IX then also ties into racial and disability harassment. I'm just curious. I read this stuff and I'm saying, what's going on? It's powerful, it's good, I believe in it, I'm just kind of curious.
okay. So,
After the Supreme Court ruling today against the
CAA.
Okay, all right, okay.
What is it?
NCAA.
NCAA, something's going on with this stuff. It can't be all athletics.
Okay,
Maybe it is, I don't know.
all right. Yeah, this is clearly not all athletic related, like the topic you were referring to. Okay, all right, thank you. Any other comments on the CASB June policy updates? Okay. So 8.3, action to set the July organizational meeting. We normally do that the first week of July, so I don't know if, hopefully we can get it on our calendars. My calendar gets kind of busy, so I was hoping we could get it set tonight. I wouldn't think it would take very long, because I would recommend that we wait to do the board leadership until January, since some of us may not be on the board in January. So it would be somewhat of a brief meeting. I would say a half hour probably, unless you have a
And that's
lot.
what we did last time,
Yes.
and I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
Makes more sense.
I just didn't know, is this, so are we going to have the July organizational meeting separate from the regular July meeting, or hold it all together? I know we've done it both ways.
I don't have a problem. We had maybe a couple things we were going to maybe put on an agenda before the regular meeting, and so if we want to do it sooner, I'm fine with that. Call a special meeting for this purpose.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, no.
So, I mean,
So our regular meeting that month is July the 19th.
just taking your suggestion, yours more has to do with the leadership of the,
Correct. Just one part of it, yes.
okay.
And we do other things. We have a consent agenda where we, select our
All the
bank
dates.
and
Right.
do all our dates and all that stuff. But the leadership portion, we should wait to do that.
I'm good with that.
Is there any reason we need to do it early on for banking purposes or financial purposes is what I'm just wondering.
Not that I'm aware of. That's-
I think a lot of schools just do it at their regular meeting. They start out with an organizational portion and then go into the regular
Okay.
meeting following
They
that.
have two separate meetings on the same day.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that then. We'll just plan on having it the July 19th, was that it?
It would be July 19th. So would you like to do it earlier at 5:30, or do you want to do it at 6 and then our regular board meeting at 6:30?
Do we have a preference to do it earlier, or?
For the regular board meeting, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think we just start the regular board
6.
meeting with it and just roll
Okay.
right through the agenda then.
So we'll do that, and if there was a reason, if we determine that there's a reason to have an earlier meeting, a special meeting, then we'll let you know. But anyways, let's just plan on doing it the same night, the 19th. Okay. All right, 8.4, action on cooperative agreement with St. Patrick's School.
Okay, so this is the typical agreement. Is this not right?
No, you're fine. Do we need a motion to approve all of that, even though it's our regular July meeting, or?
No action.
Yeah, that's fine. We can take action on that we will set our July organizational meeting on the night of our regular July monthly meeting. Correct.
I think that's what motion I just made, Jim.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yep, moved and seconded to do that. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, yeah. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Amanda. Okay, 8.4.
Okay, so this is the cooperative agreement with St. Pat's, which is the same one that we've had for a number of years. This year, we have added boys basketball to that group as well. So I would encourage you to approve it. It allows their middle school students to participate in football, boys and girls tennis, wrestling, boys basketball, boys and girls golf. And this is something that Keisha, we're required to have approved every year by Keisha in order for them to be able to participate.
So moved.
Hold on,
I got a question.
hold on.
All righty.
Go ahead.
I brought this up earlier, the only, wasn't a question, was a concern that Emilio Aida made this agreement, wrote it up, but Mrs. Carson will be the principal. I'm just hoping she's on the same page, so there's no,
Right, and so when she comes on in July, it will have already been approved, and so she'll know that her kids can participate.
talk to her ahead of time.
I bet he did. I mean, I think they're in communication now.
I would
I mean,
assume
know
so.
that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's something
Okay,
where she's
no
gonna
big deal.
not wanna.
I would assume if that we approve this and then they choose not to participate, then we are
That's it.
going to say, okay, you don't have to
You don't have to.
participate. So I think we'll be okay if she chooses to go in a different direction. So, yeah.
Do their students come on their own? We don't bus them over or
That is
anything?
correct. We do not.
No.
Any other questions?
Okay, so moved.
We've got a motion on the floor here, so
I'll second it.
moved and seconded to approve that cooperative agreement with St. Patrick's Catholic School. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we will move to 8.5, action to authorize transfer of funds to close the fiscal year 21.
Right. So the district will close the fiscal year on June the 30th, and so then that process includes making certain transfers to special funds that have to be completed and zeroed out as required by the state. So we just need action to authorize that transfer.
So we're just
Just
approving
Right.
all of those amounts that we don't know the exact amounts at this precise moment, but
No.
we will by that time. We're just approving that since we won't meet again until after that, so.
That's correct.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the transfer of funds to close fiscal year 21. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We do need to table 8.6 because we do not have that information in order to act on that yet. It is delayed. So we'll move to 8.7.
All right, and this is to participate in that Greenbush Energy Corporation, that hedging authorization on page 40 through 42. We've been a member of that group, Greenbush Energy Group. It was very beneficial to us this year during the massive freeze. So it's recommended that we continue that for natural gas.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the participation with the Greenbush Energy Group. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.8, action to approve a contract with Encore Kansas Gas to provide natural gas.
All right, so this one group is for the gas, one's to get it to the city, and one's to get it here. So this is the supplier for the natural gas and the transportation services for the 21-22 school year. So it's recommended that the contract with that company be approved.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the contract with Encore Kansas Gas for the natural gas for 21-22. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.9, action to contract with the city of Parsons to provide a school resource officer.
Okay, so this is the annual renewal of that agreement with the city to have a school resource officer for the 21-22 school year. That cost has remained consistent at $35,000. I would recommend that you approve that.
Question.
Okay?
So that memorandum of understanding, that person is housed at the high school, goes to all the other schools, works during the school year, works ball games, and in the summertime works for the city?
That is correct. On the street.
And has the power to arrest.
On the street or in our school?
In the school.
Okay.
If it were necessary.
Further questions?
Oh, one more thing. And when Dennis was here, he would go to classrooms and do some teaching on some of the police duties. She would do that also?
Yes, she's willing to do that as well.
Okay.
Okay, need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the contract with the city of Parsons for a school resource officer next school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.10, action on memorandum of agreement with Greenbush for parents as teachers' participation.
So this would be the same home visiting program that we've had for a number of years, where they would go into the home for early learning, ages 0 up to age 3, and then up to age 6 for other programs. It includes screenings. They do all kinds of other things. So the total cost for that is $16,000, which I feel like is valuable.
Did we do that last year?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
So is that one person?
It is. We have one parent
Who's that
educator.
person?
Who is it?
I can't think of her name. what is her name? We've met her. It'll probably come to me in the middle of the night. I don't know right off the top of my head what her name is, but I can send
Approximately how
it.
many slots is that?
40, what is it, 40-some?
40.
40 or 42.
Thank you.
How do we find out who is eligible for this?
Anyone is eligible for it, anyone. And so when, at the hospital, they have information when they put the baby boxes and those kinds of things out. They set things up at WIC, DCF has information that they provide, Lincoln has information that they can provide if kids come and have younger siblings. So
Lots of parents take advantage of it.
a lot of
It's going to
parents
be
do.
put on our website.
And it is on the Lincoln website, but we can,
But it's available right at the hospital as soon as, it's
Yeah.
offered right then. And that's when most, I think, do sign up. But
and then our home visitor person can make contact, and they, with COVID, it's been a little different this past year, but typically they have parent nights where you get together and have activities and different things at the school. And they get enrolled in Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, so.
which is absolutely wonderful.
Right.
I mean, the books that are sent out, my grandkids have got them.
It gives a quality piece of
Oh, they're
literature every
excellent.
month until a child reaches the age of 5.
Excellent.
We have a local family that has been very generous through the years for that Dolly Parton, and then also the books that are in the vending machine now and so forth.
Right.
They're very, very committed to reading and that program. And through the Educational Foundation, they give money every year to support those programs. Very, very helpful. Any further discussion on that? Greenbush.
On the parents' participation form, it says our district would like to serve the recommended number of families at a cost of $800 per family. Recommended number of families to be served is 20.
20.
Or, what does that mean?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to go
It's
back
on
and
page
look.
45.
I thought we had double that, because maybe we have double that participating in Imagination Library. I bet that's what we do, because of the donation from the Education Foundation.
I mean, what's the $800 mean?
So that would be the cost per family, I would assume is what that means.
That we pay, or?
Well, it would cost the district $16,000, so yes, that would be our cost.
Okay. Okay.
And so the other families that are receiving the books and those kinds of things,
Okay.
that's funded through the Education Foundation, through that
Yeah.
donor.
And that's several thousand a year, the donations for that book program.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum agreement with Greenbush for the PAT program.
One more question. I'm looking at page 46, and I could see some scratching out where another school district, 503 was replaced with that. But Kansas Education Service Center, interlocal 609, is that Greenbush?
Yes.
The very first part?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And I called about that, that's where 503 is scribbled out. And she said those were the letters were automatically
Okay.
populated and they didn't know that it didn't change for each district.
Okay.
So she said just cross it out.
That's fine. I just wondered what 609 is.
That's
Okay.
Greenbush.
Okay, we got a motion to approve that agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve that agreement with Greenbush for PAT program. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.11, action on middle school cross-country proposal.
Okay, so currently we do not have cross-country offered at the middle school. However, there are other middle schools in the area that do have that program. And Tyler feels like there would be some interest. We have students that would like to participate in that. So currently, Fort Scott, Chanute, Columbus, Pittsburgh, they have CASHA sanctioned, approved middle school cross-country teams. And so we would be able to get on their schedules. They have a tentative schedule that's been confirmed. We would be able to get on their schedule if this were approved. The team would just use the track uniforms, so there would be no cost with that. The only cost would be the coach, which would be a supplemental, and it would be about $1,200, which is similar to what middle school golf middle school tennis, because probably about the same number of students would participate. So for $1,200, it would give our students an opportunity to participate.
He
in
felt
another
like
activity.
that he could have a coach or could
He
find a
did.
coach readily available.
He did.
Motion to approve the middle school cross-country proposal.
Second that.
Moved and seconded to approve the middle school cross-country proposal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.12, action on ESER 2 application.
Okay, so the ESER 2 application is just what I talked about earlier. It's got the 2 capital projects, which are for the windows, and then the other portion of it, there's the narrative that's included, and then the different items in regard to adding the teacher at Guthridge.
And what's the total of that application
The
this
total of
time?
that application is $718,000. So there's $2.1 million available, which means we would fill out other applications for the remainder of that money once it's become established. So this would pay for our summer school activities that we've done, that staff, that travel, that's all.
And that money has to be expended by July, is it July of 23?
September of 2023.
Further questions on that?
Move to approve the ESER 2 application?
Moved and seconded to approve the ESER 2 application. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.13, action on district plan for a safe return to in-person instruction and continuing of services.
All right, so this continuation of services and return to in-person has to be posted on our website by tomorrow. So it's something that needs to be approved in order to be eligible for the ESER 3 award. This is what we were made aware of last week, and then spent multiple hours writing the plan.
And so do you have a
So
copy to send around
I
or
do.
what?
So this was included in the view on Friday.
Yeah.
But I've got this copy.
Okay, I knew it was in our electronic, but I just didn't know if anybody wanted to see above and beyond the electronic of what we got Friday.
I didn't. I mean, it's,
This? So it's blank because we haven't put any figures in it yet.
no, okay, so this is,
No,
this
we're-
is for the ESER 2.
Yeah, we're
And so
we're
that's-
talking about
and
the
that- right.
return to schools deal.
Oh, so that return, the plan for safe return to in-person instruction, continuity of services. It was included in the view on Friday. I didn't make copies for you this evening. I can sure give you a paper copy if you'd like. Something has to be posted by tomorrow in order to meet the eligibility requirement. And really what it is they gave us a template on Wednesday, and they said, okay, here's how you have to tell it, the district, here's what you have to do, tell us how you're gonna do that. And then it talked about wearing masks, hand washing, and respiratory etiquette, modifying facilities to allow for physical distancing, cleaning and maintaining healthy facilities, contact tracing, diagnostic screening, how we would do all of those things, vaccinations, accommodations for disabilities, how you're gonna provide services and coordinate with local health officials, all of those things, if we were to have those requirements again. It's really kind of tricky because the legislators, I think, put this in there to require everyone to go back to face-to-face instruction. And for those of us that have been at face-to-face instruction all year long, it's like, we have to have a reopening plan, but we never really, I mean, we've been open. But this was the template that was required to how we would address those specific areas. So,
If some student so desires, they could mask up, correct?
absolutely. I think that's up to,
Yeah.
that's up to each
Yeah.
individual.
Or teacher.
Or teacher,
anybody.
yeah, and every individual, adult or kid, visitor.
I have students on campus wearing masks every winter for as long as I can remember, 25, 30 years, every winter.
And
Not
it-
all year long, but typically during the winter, during the flu season and so forth.
We don't.
Okay, any other questions on the safe to return to in-person instruction, continuation of services plan?
So this is I just found it. So this is material that you just wrote up in the last few days?
Yes. Found out on Wednesday that it was a requirement and had to be posted by tomorrow on the website in order to be eligible for the ESSER 3 award. And so I spent Wednesday and Thursday quite a few hours.
That's what she discussed with us on Wednesday, Lou,
Yeah.
that she had to have done by tomorrow
Yeah.
morning and was going to have it done tonight.
I'm just
Right.
now,
That's
didn't
right.
realize it was,
Yeah.
I saw the window stuff in there, I missed this.
So when I did it on I did it Wednesday, Thursday, so that it would be ready for the Friday view.
Can this be amended?
I don't know.
What it will be is that we're getting more information every so many
Well, I'm
months.
just saying,
Yes.
all the schools, this
Right.
was dumped on superintendents a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote it up, and I appreciate that, but I don't think all of us have read this. I haven't.
Well, and it has to be reviewed and on the board agenda, I think, once every 6 months.
Well,
think
that's fine.
that's-
So it can be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, oh, yeah. Mhm.
All
Sure
right, that's
thing.
fine. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, need a motion to approve that district plan?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve that district plan for safe return to in-person instruction next school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8:14, executive session. Anybody have anything from the board's perspective? Okay, let's go 15. Okay, we need a motion for executive session. We'll go 15 minutes. Someone would like to make that motion?
So moved, or we gonna take a break or just go on?
Yeah, we can
through?
take a 5-minute break.
I'm okay, but I just,
No, we take a 5-minute break, that's fine.
David made the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. We'll go into executive session, discuss confidential employee information pursuant to the non-elected personnel exception in Narcoma and the exception for employee employment negotiations in Narcoma. And that's at 6:52. We'll take a 5-minute recess. We'll begin executive session at 6:57, back here at 7:12, an open meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. So in recess for 5 minutes. 6:57, we'll start executive session. extend 5 minutes, or do we need to go 10, or what's the?
Five will do it. If you get a number, it's just a number.
Okay, we're back in open session here. We do need to extend executive session for another 5 minutes, so I need a motion to that extent.
So move.
Okay, move to go into executive session again to discuss confidential employee information pursuant to non-elected personnel exception or coma and the exception for employer-employee negotiations in a coma at 7:13 for 5 minutes. We'll return back here at 7:18. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We're recessed 5. Okay, we're back in open session. We are moving on to item 8.15, action on stipend for middle school assistant principal. We need a motion for that.
I said second.
Moved and seconded to take action on awarding a stipend to middle school assistant principal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 8.16, action on personnel.
Okay, so we have a number of recommendations for employment beginning in the 21-22 school year. So we have Amanda Ashaban, high school child nutrition staff; Pam Barnes, Guthridge Middle School library aide; Haley Beechner, middle school child nutrition staff; Ryan Barrick, elementary music teacher, grades 3-5; Christina Bird, high school child nutrition staff; Andrea Downing, high school child nutrition staff; Keisha Hammonds, food service director; LaCynthia Hinman, middle school kitchen manager; Letitia Hinman, high school kitchen manager; Morgan Heisey, high school Edgenuity aide; Haley Hughes, high school child nutrition staff; Olivia Joy, first grade teacher; Richard McClellan, high school child nutrition staff; Cheryl McClinning, middle school child nutrition staff; Kristen Park, high school child nutrition staff; Jessica Ryan, elementary art teacher; Carla Seacrest, middle school child nutrition staff; Elizabeth Smith, full-time substitute teacher; Dolores Stitch, high school child nutrition staff. Turn the page. We've got Quentin Trout, Guthridge ETR aide, and Amy Wimp, Guthridge Title I aide. So I would recommend that you approve those for employment.
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve those recommendations for employment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
We have one resignation for retirement. That's Robin Fuentes. She's been a substitute bus driver for us, and that would be effective July the 1st, 2021. So I would recommend that you approve her retirement.
I so move. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve that retirement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
We had one resignation from employment. That would be Mackenzie Burnett, elementary PE teacher, effective June the 15th, 2021. So I would recommend that you approve that resignation.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve that resignation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. No further business. We are adjourned.